All right. We're going to do a little bit of gameplay here. Um, but before we do that, we're going to just get some things set up here. Happy New Year's Eve. Mm-mm-mm. Oh yeah, I won't show it there. So I'm going to wait a second for some people to get in here, and then we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of testing, some gameplay. I got some things I'm working on. All right. I think we're all set. So yeah, so it's Saturday morning, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. Not sure if is this working. There we go. I'm not really sure. I'm probably just gonna be doing some testing, some playing around here, and just taking a look at the code and the changes. Talk about some changes I'm making to the game. And just kind of chat with you guys. If you guys have any questions or anything you guys want to talk about, then we can do that. We could do that. Power sales console update. Well, sales aren't bad. I mean, we always do pretty well. Or there's always a bump when sales happen. So that's kind of always a nice thing, right? Hey, what's going on, Gerald? How are you? I need to get my chat set up here because it's kind of in my way here. Gonna disable something real quick. Let's disable this. It's fine. Hey, Glitch. Thanks. The game is pretty cool. I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's been a little bit of time since I've like been working on the game again, and so I just want to just share with you guys what's going on, and just include you on some testing I'm going to be doing with the game, so you guys can kind of, you know, check it out with me. And like I said, this is also a chance for fans of the game and the YouTube channel to chat before the year ends, right? 2023. But this is a very casual stream. I just jumped on. I figured I would do some streaming. And that's it. I'm trying to get this chat window to be bigger, but it's not really cooperating with me. So, let me see. That's fine. I'll just do it this way. Yeah, this is better. There we go. All right. So let's get started here. Sorry for the late delay. Late start. This can probably just go away. This can probably just go up here. And that looks pretty good. So as usual, if you guys want to talk about anything, let me know. But we're going to be doing some testing today. And just kind of, like I said, I want to just share some studio news and what's going on. Why isn't this popping up? There we go. All right, so we got about 10 people in here, so we'll go ahead and get started. There have been quite a number of changes that have gone into the game for the port, but before we talk about that, I want to share with you kind of what the status is with the consoles. People ask about it a lot, and I know people are anxious to get the game on consoles, and so are we. You know, to be honest, it's been a long time since this game's been in development, and it's a great game. Like I really enjoyed making this game. I'm very passionate about football, and it's hard. What I've realized is it's really hard to finish a game, right? Like it's hard to get a game out the door and shipped digitally, physically, whatever, right? And that's just to the PC, right? To Steam, GOG, Epic Games. It's on itch.io. But at the same time, we still have a ways to go, right? We have the consoles that we're trying to port to, and the console porting process is very difficult. And that's why I was in search of a publisher to help me out. And I have one now, and they're good guys, and they're helping me, and they have been working on this port for the past like 6 months to 10 months, somewhere in that range, full time pretty much. And they're trying to get the game over to all three major consoles, Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation. And the biggest, I guess the biggest challenge with that is really trying to make the game not only pass certification for each one of those consoles, so you got to do things a little bit differently per console. But you also need to, I didn't realize it was so hard either, but it is hard. And as far as the question, Gerald, about plans for physical or digital, obviously it'll be digital, like you said, but we do have potential plans for a physical release. So no concrete news on that yet, but that's kind of on the table, if you will. So there's a chance that we can have some physical copies, but I've not heard of anything official just yet. And there are other things that we're looking into, other opportunities that I can't really discuss, but the game is trying to grow, right? The game is trying to get to more people, and that's kind of the goal for a developer, for a studio, right? You're trying to get your games to not only get finished, to be pretty good, to be fun, enjoyable experiences, but you're also trying to get them to, you have to get them in front of people. And if you don't have that, then everything is lost, right? You just don't get anywhere. So that's what we're kind of doing now. We're really trying to get ourselves to the point where the game, number one, works on consoles. Oh, you did? Cool. Congratulations, Chris. You should check out the Discord. There's probably a link on my YouTube channel somewhere, maybe here, I don't know, but there's links everywhere for the Discord. You should get on there if you're not there already, because there's a whole bunch of good information. People can help you with things, and also mods and stuff if you want to, do different rosters and logos and stuff. This game's heavily moddable, but out of the box, it's very customizable as well. You can do a lot with it. But the thing with porting is, it is very difficult. It is very challenging. It's a lot more than I can handle on my own. And from what I've been told from the publisher, this game is heavy duty. It is the hardest game they've had to work on, and there's a lot going on in this game. And, and that's what people, I think, realize after they buy the game. And a lot of people don't realize it, is there's a lot going on under the hood with this game. There's a ton of customization, and the pixel art, it's pixel art, but I love pixel art, but pixel art fools a lot of people, and they think that the game's not very good. And it's very basic. And that's like totally the opposite of what the game is. This game is a modernized technology video game where you have a lot of things that you couldn't do back in the day, right? There's a lot more potential that you can do now with the technology we have, and the kind of resources we have, and just overall, it is far superior than back in the golden era, right? But the pixel graphics, to me, they don't age, right? They don't age very, very much. They stay very classic, and I love that look. What's going on, Mark, the Face Zone? Welcome to the stream. Happy 2023 to all of you guys here. And so just basically, I'll try to keep it short because I know I can keep going for on and on with this, and I want to get to some gameplay here. But the porting process is difficult. We are working on it. We're getting closer and closer. And we are getting close to, right now we're doing beta testing on it, and that's the build I have right now in front of you. We're trying to get the PC bugs out. We're trying to get the game to get all the same kind of gameplay that we have right now going on with the current public version, but we're also optimizing the game heavily to work on these systems. And we're also going to be getting a new PC version when this is all said and done. That includes the optimization, so you're going to get faster FPS, you're going to get better overall performance in the game, and It's going to be on the newest version of Game Maker Studio 2, which is the engine that I use. And so the PC is going to get all of the benefits from the porting. And then once we get all of that stuff figured out, which I feel like we're getting closer and closer, then we're going to be pushing this out to get certification, right? So we're talking, I think, like a month or 2 or 3, somewhere in that range for this game to be out on consoles now, or be ready to be out. Now there's marketing that needs to happen. There's lining things up. We're looking at potential deals with other consoles and stores and things. So there's going to be some of that business side of it that has to happen. But we're close. I mean, I think 2023, the first quarter, is going to be our target, and I think we're gonna get there, and I'm hoping, obviously, and that's the biggest challenge with being an indie dev, is you spend years making a game with the hopes that it's going to do well enough to sustain your studio and to continue working on games. And this game has been part of my heart and soul. It's been part of my everyday life for many years, and I'm excited to see what it can do on consoles. But I'm also a little skeptical because I know that a lot of games don't do well. But we're there. We're knocking on the door. It's right around the corner. So for all of the guys that have been asking about consoles, there's your explanation. Now we got a couple questions in here. Ralph, are they able to get your latest gameplay updates before it releases on consoles, or does that make it harder for the port? No, I've been giving them the latest updates, so they have all of that. So they should be good to go from that front. It's going to include every update. So when this game actually comes out on consoles and it's ready to go, the PC version and the console versions are going to be the same. We have the same exact build. It's a universal build. It has all of the systems in it, plus PC. And that's why right now we're trying to fix some of the bugs that we're seeing that are either PC bugs only or they're console or both. We're making a universal build, so they will all have the same updates, and any updates I've made up to now are already included in the project, minus things that we've missed or any bugs. But like I said, we're pretty close to having this thing working based on the beta feedback so far. Yeah, it'd be cool to get a hard copy. I'd love it. I don't know what a flyer, I guess, or the what do you call that when you go to a game? It's almost like when you go to like the theater or something. It's a program. I think they call it a program. Get your programs here, right? So yeah, I mean, I'm not paranoid about it, to be honest. I'm kind of like, for me, I'm more not anxious. Maybe anxious is the word. It's been a long time, so I feel like all these years worth of effort and time are kind of just, it's a lot to have gone through. It's been an emotional roller coaster, and but I'm excited. I am excited to get this next phase going, and I want to see what it can do. But I'm also, the reason why I say I'm skeptical is because, or my expectations are low, is because I don't want to be super disappointed or depressed if it doesn't do well, number one. And I also don't, you don't want to have high expectations because a lot of games fail. So I don't know what to expect, but I definitely am way over like waiting. I'm ready to see what happens, and I can't wait to see how this thing does on consoles, because I just don't know. I mean, I don't know if people are going to enjoy the game like I would. So I'm going to do an exhibition, but I'm going to change the, I'm going to just let it run AI versus AI for right now. And I'll do like a half of this I'll let it just run the way it is. And I'm going to talk through some changes that we're making. What I think I'm going to do are some random teams. I do want to have... Yeah, I do want to have a fast quarterback, and we've been kind of testing with this guy here. I like those jerseys. They're pretty sweet. And I'm using a Nintendo controller, so we're seeing Nintendo buttons here. Yeah, I hope it is. I really do. I guess I'm excited for consoles because consoles are where sports games live, right? Like consoles are the place that sports games thrive. And I'm hoping that this game can take advantage of that. I feel like it's done very, very well on Steam for it being a sports game. But will it translate over to console where people want high definition graphics, 4K, 3D, visuals? I just don't know. That's the only kind of question mark for me. But I know it's a good game. I know it's a fun game. And I'm not saying it because I'm bragging. It's just, I like it. I enjoy it. And I know people enjoy it. And it's gotten great reviews. So what's not to like? The stuff over here on this side that you guys see in the left corner, those are the QB debugging stats that I have set right now because I want to see a few things, and I'll talk through that. But we made some changes to the game recently where the QB, I couldn't help myself. I'm always wanting to do something, but the QB AI is a bit different now. Let me go ahead and take the music down because I want to be able to talk here. Yeah, the problem with the consoles is you won't be able to mod. That's not part of it, but we are planning on including some. I think I'm going to include a roster that might be that might have some of the colors of the real teams, but we'll see. So I want to walk through some of the changes here so you guys are aware. Just give me 1 second. So let me just let this play run and I'll talk you through it. Oh, that was cool. All right, so let me get my little handy dandy pen out so you guys can get some visuals. All right. So here's the way that the game, whoops. Here are the changes that we're making with the game. So when the quarterback drops back, based on their skill, based on their IQ, and also based on their greed values, ratings, right? Yeah, the pro set ones. Yeah, that's probably what we're going to include. A roster that resembles the NFL, but doesn't have the real names. Obviously, we don't have the logos. That's like the best we're going to be able to do for consoles as an extra roster is what I'm thinking, because I don't think we have any issues with copyright if we create something that's, unofficially resembling that, right? But I want to talk through this. So when the quarterback first drops back, he's got a timer now. Okay. And if he's a fast quarterback before the play starts, because here's the thing, let me go back. The way the game was working before, it was hold on. Yeah, the way the game was working before, or the way that it works right now in the public beta or version, the quarterback rarely ever runs. The quarterback also, uh, doesn't take sacks. Like sacks are never happening in the current version. Like they can get rushed by 5 guys and you can have the best defense in the world, but they always seem to get the ball away. They always seem to throw it to someone or check down or throw it out of bounds. So what I did for the beta or the next version that we're working on is we implemented a kind of intentional grounding thing where if you're within this boundary here, right, you cannot throw the ball out of bounds. All you can do is either throw to a random receiver, which a random receiver, if you do get that, it's based on your IQ. Okay, the higher the IQ, the more you throw to just anybody, because at least you get a chance, right? Actually, I'm sorry, I said it backwards. Let me go back. You have 3 options, right? You can throw to a random receiver if you're greedy. If you're greedy, it's just going to just spit it out to somebody, right? If you have a high IQ, it's going to check it down like Tom Brady would do, check it down to your halfback or whoever's, your check down guy. And then if you didn't miss anything yet, we're just talking, everything that's going on pretty much. If you don't, so you get 3 options, right? The first option is random receiver, and we call it desperate throw, right? Second option is, I'm sitting here drawing on the screen and you can't see it. Hold on a second. Let me do this. Okay, I got to move this up here so you guys can kind of see it, the whole thing. All right, so let me go back. So let me take some. So basically, this is the zone I was talking about, right? Intentional grounding zone. You have 3 options. Option number 1. Let me get a better color here. Option number 1 is desperate throw. I know I didn't spell that right, but desperate throw. Number 2, check down. And this is going to be bad handwriting, but oh well. And number 3 would be throw it away, right? But now what's going to happen is if you're in this zone here, you can't throw it away. So you're going to end up running the ball. But the way the logic works is, first thing that happens is, and this is all when you're under pressure, right? This is when you're under pressure from the line. So if you got these guys coming in and they're hard at coming in at you here, you have 3 choices. The first thing is desperation, and that's based off of greed. Okay, then the second thing is IQ, which is check down, right? So if you're really greedy, it's going to throw it to a random receiver. And there's going to be some inaccuracy with your throw. Potential chance for that, right? If you're smart, so if you're not desperate and you pass that gate, then it goes to check down. And if you're smart, you'll check it down a lot of the time and you'll check it to a receiver that's, close, nearby, right? Short. And if those 2 things don't hit, you'll throw it away if you're in these areas, right? But if you're inside here, then what'll happen is you'll run until you get out of here, and you'll either throw it again or you'll just throw it away again, depending on what happens. So that's kind of the logic that we have set right now when you're under pressure. Another thing that we're looking at, or that has changed, is if you're an 85 or greater speed, that also determines whether you run or throw when you're under pressure. So if you're like a Michael Vick and you're under pressure and you're fast, you're probably going to run a lot of the time, just because running is a good weapon for you. That's under pressure. We also have it now where if you are a fast quarterback, there's a chance that as soon as you hike the ball and you drop back, you'll just run the ball because you have mobility. So that's going to improve, I think, the gameplay. It's also going to make it where, well, throwing during running does hurt accuracy, but the quarterback typically stops before they throw it. And fast players who do run don't get that inaccuracy. They do a better job throwing on the run. But this is going to be something new where when you're playing against a fast QB, you're going to see them run more. Not a lot, but you're going to see it sprinkled in here and there. And you're also going to, and that when they run, by the way, there's code now that says you can either run left or right for the most part, or you might run forward. It all depends on who's coming after you. So if you got all these guys over here, you're going to run to the right. Okay. It's kind of the idea. So that's something brand new. They cannot throw in this area here. They got to be outside to throw away out of bounds, right? Intentional grounding, right? But when you're controlling the quarterback now, that's for AI. When you're controlling the quarterback, you can't throw inside of here away. If you push the L trigger, it's not going to throw it away. It's going to throw to a random receiver. So now you have to understand that when you do a left click and you panic and you're in this area here, you're going to throw it to a random receiver. When you're outside of the area, then you're going to throw it out of bounds. So this is my cheap way of doing intentional grounding penalties for you. This is what you want coming to the new path. Correct. Patch correct. You didn't put this patch out yet. Yeah, no, this is not out yet. This is part of I talked about it a minute ago. This is all part of the new code that's going to the consoles, but it's also going to go to the PC. So we're going to have some time before this comes out, but I'm just sharing it with you guys because I'm really sharing testing that I'm doing. And while I'm testing, I might as well just stream it and then explain what's going on. But the idea here behind the majority of this is, yeah, we're going to improve QB likeness. You're going to see a difference between a fast QB, a smart QB, a greedy QB. That's going to play into how quarterbacks behave on the field and how they perform. It's also going to play into how you recruit, right? I'm using a pen. It's called Epic Pen. So that's what I'm using. View Epic Pen. It's free. They have a version you can pay for, but I just use the free one. The other thing too is, so we want the QBs to be different, and obviously, and that's the cool thing about this game. I can work in this game for 20 years and it can still be, which is what Madden's done, right? Like the more you work on a football game, the deeper you can get, the more stuff you can do, etc. So I have an opportunity finally, now that I have the code, I'm actually able to use the code and work on the code that's being ported. I'm actually making some last minute changes because I do want the game to do well. And I am a fan of the game and I want this stuff for the game too. I also have like pre-motion, like pre-snap motion stuff that I may throw into the game, but don't even count on that. If you guys get this, it's going to be like a super crazy surprise. But I know the gate's open right now for me to mess around and I may work on that, but I probably am not going to be able to do it, but that's what goes through my brain. Okay. So the quarterback is the one benefit. The other thing that we wanted to do was get sacks to be a thing. Right now, sacks are not a thing. Okay. So as you're watching this game, keep all of that information in mind. All right. And like in this case, if we look at this play, he was probably under pressure here because the guys are hunting him down, but he's not. I don't think he's a dumb QB. We can look at his stats here. He is greedy, but he's also intelligent, and he's also fast, and he's also really good, right? His skills an 88. He's an overall 93. He's fast, right? So just keep this in mind as we're watching this game so that you guys understand what's going on. That's basically the gist of it so far. I've also made improvements to like interceptions, you know, like when the ball, and this is fixed too, by the way, the running behind and tackling, they can now tackle from behind like that. That was a problem before. That was a bug that we just fixed. So just for the PC guys who are going to stay PC, just know that when this thing gets ported over, there are going to be some improvements to the game. The game is already running a lot faster. I'm on debug mode right now, which is slower to begin with, and the game's running pretty fast. We do have a few optimization things to worry about that we're still looking at, but overall the game's running great. Yeah, Madden 23 for me, I haven't touched it since the last video I did. But, you know, that's also me not I don't play a lot of games. But yeah, I got bored of that game pretty quick. I know. Hot routes would be cool. I know. I mean, and that's the thing. There's a lot that could be done with this game, right? Like I would love to do a lot of things with the game. But, you know, it's also something that I you know, I need to get this game out. I need to get it on consoles. I need to stop making changes to it. And I mean, I really want to work on another game, because another thing that's awesome that you have 300 hours, man. Congratulations. I'm also, now this guy is an 87 skill, 78 speed. If we take a look at this quarterback, we can look at his stats real quick. He's not that greedy, and he's super dumb. So I'm expecting him to get sacked. The only thing is he has some speed, but he's not that fast. So I don't think he's going to be throwing desperate throws. And his intelligence is low. So I have a feeling that he's going to not even check down, and he's going to just end up running. That's the thing. If you don't have the, if you're not greedy and you're not intelligent and you're about to get sacked, you're either going to run or try to throw it away. And that always leads to a sack pretty much if you don't get rid of it. Yeah, you need to pitch that other game idea for me, because that's the thing I wanted to talk about. So with Legend Bowl, if we think about it as a studio, if we, and I've already squandered at least half of 2022. Like I really lost a lot of opportunity there to work on something else. I dabbled with some different games. I couldn't really touch this game. And I was in a spot where I was really handcuffed to what to work on. But I can't, as a studio, you cannot keep working on the same thing over and over. Unless you use a model like Madden does, and you have a yearly release, and every year you release a new game. But because it's not licensed, I don't have a license to give people every day with new rosters, right? I can add stuff to the game, but it's going to feel like a little update. So the point is that I could do a Super Mega Baseball type of thing where every two years or so I release a new game, and that could be an idea. And that might just be what I end up doing, because there's a lot more that I can do with the game. Or I can make something different, because the point that I've realized is once I make a second version of this game, all of the sales of this game are going to go to zero. No one's going to buy the first version. And if they did, and the game's probably going to be worth $1.99. Like, it's not going to be a lot of money, right? So a sequel to a sports game immediately tanks and makes the predecessor obsolete, right? So a couple things. If the game does really, really well, then it's okay. I can wait. I can work on a second version. It can take 2-3 years if I want. I can beef up the game. I can make it better. And I know that I have a game that's done very well, and I can look at that run, and I can actually, believe that, and I can also forecast that the second version is going to do pretty well, right? We now have a fan base, we have support, right? But I haven't seen that yet because consoles aren't here yet, and I don't have the full sales picture to look at. So as a game studio, you want to have more titles so you have more streams of income, right? The more titles you have, the number, every number you have, it increases the chance of another stream of income, right? Like if you have 5 games, you have 5 streams of income that can possibly come in. And that's kind of where quantity is a good thing. Now I like quality, right? But all my eggs right now have been in one basket, and that's Legend Bowl. So if nobody supports Legend Bowl when it goes to consoles, or there's very little support, then now as a studio, you've gambled all of your time and resources to a game that people didn't want, right? So we'll see what happens with that. But I would love to work on this game, like exclusively. I love this game, and there's so much more we can do with the game. Like the game has an endless amount of improvements to make. We can add more animations to the game. We could add even better music to the game. We can add more features to the game. We can beef up the franchise to be even better than what it is now. We can definitely get the AI to be better over time. Maybe multiplayer could happen down the road one day. I mean, there's so much opportunity. Maybe we get a licensing deal. Like it's just endless amounts of opportunity. But like anything else, it all goes back to, do you have the support and the revenue to make that decision? And that's where we haven't gotten to yet. As of right now, it's been a passion project. It's done very well on Steam, given the game's genre, right? But yeah, I'm going into my serious talk, and this isn't an entertaining stream. This is just you guys who follow me getting some insight into what goes on in my brain. As I'm watching this, though, I'm definitely like looking at the changes here, and all the changes I talked about, they're very subtle. Like you're not going to see, I don't think we have any sacks yet, right? Are there any sacks at all yet? No, not a sack. So you're not going to see this happen all the time, but we're also testing it and tuning it to where we do want these changes that I've made with the QB and sacks and everything to be noticeable. So we're tuning it. I think I toned it down a little bit before this latest build. But I'm trying to test it now to kind of see where we stand. But it's a pretty low chance, like a 10% chance or less that he actually runs. Like a guy like this, here it is right here. Now it's funny I say he's going to run right now. I can see with the throw, run, wait timer on the top left. Oh no, it was a running play. See, and that's the thing that we have to account for. And if this is for the beta guys, even though it's like 8 or whatever it is, 10% right now, I'll tell you what it is. Right now I have it at 10% max. So what happens is 10% is your max. So if you're a 99 or 100 speed, which nobody is, but if you're a 99 speed, you're going to get basically 10%. But that's if it's the right scenario. Like it doesn't work. It won't run the ball in certain scenarios of the game because it's a risky play, right? So you're limited from that. But we're also limited from that 10% is also limited not only from your speed, because you're getting a percentage of that 10%, but you're also being limited by how many times you run the ball, right? If you're a run heavy team, like that time I thought he was going to run, he didn't run because it was a running play, right? So even though it hit at 10% and you were going to get the running play for the QB, it wasn't a passing play, so you don't get it. So we may need to bump that number up a little bit, but that's for you guys to determine and do some testing and let me know. No, yeah. I didn't explain that well, and I guess I probably didn't even like realize it. I knew it was the case, but I also didn't kind of take that into account. That's just every play that happens, it's 10% if it gets through the cracks. And the cracks are, it has to be a running play or a passing play, and it has to be a situation where we allow it, right? So it's being limited, and it's also being limited by if you're a fast QB. If you're not 85 or higher, you will never get it, ever. You will never get to run off the bat like that. So that's already like the other quarterback will never get it, no matter how much he tries. He's not fast enough to ever get it, right? So if you're not 85 or better, you never get it. That eliminates that entire team or that entire game for that QB. If you're running the ball a lot, every time you run the ball, you won't get it. And then if it's a situation in the game where we don't allow it, which is, I would say 15% of the game, then you don't get it. I mean, tie it to the run ratio. Well, let me think about that. I can definitely do that, but I'm just wondering, does that even make any sense? Because let's say you pass the ball 100% of the time and you have it at 10%, you're going to run it 10% of the time, right? If you pass it 50% of the time, then you're going to run it 5% of the overall game, right? So yeah, I mean, the more you pass, the more you run with your quarterback. That's basically the bottom line. So, I mean, what we could do is we could say, like, if we're just looking for, see, that's the thing though. Like, what are we looking to do? Are we looking to say they're going to run, like, we want them to run like 5 times per game no matter what? Or do we want them to run 5 times per game if they pass a lot? Like, that's the thing that I don't know, because I think if we don't touch it, it's going to act like it should, which is it's going to be based on how many times you throw it, basically. So if you don't throw a lot, you don't run a lot. I mean, but yeah, we could tie it to how many times there's an interception. I think that was the first one of the game, if I'm correct. Oh no, that's 2. Wait a second. No, that's just 1. That's the first one of the game. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely look at that's a good run right there, man. That's a really good run. That's good AI. I'm sorry. I know that he got held up in the back right there. Like he was trying to find his way out, but man, I'm using a Nintendo controller. It's not the best triggers, but the way he kind of just gets stuck back there is pretty cool. And he found his way out. I mean, the offensive line did their thing. They found their blocks. That's why anybody who loves football, I don't know how they're not going to like this game, man. I just don't know. I loved it. I love seeing that. So cool. Hot routes, more logos, the ability for expansion, more polished pixels. Polished pixels. New plays. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot. There's a lot to do. There's a lot. We could sit here for 500 years and work on this game. I mean, there's an endless amount of things you can do to make improvements to this game. To any game, for that matter. I mean, but you have to be smart about it. You have to be a business about it too. So we have to think about that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, we could I can look at the I can look at it based on the run percentage and pass percentage or whatever. But if that's what we're gonna do, then remember, passing and running also changes based on the situation in the game, right? So like if you're a pass heavy team, there are times where you're still gonna throw it run it because the play calls for it. So it's not solely based on, like, play calling is not solely based on the run pass percentage. But that is a pretty like raw indication of what you're gonna do, right? So we could use that. We could say, run it, See, but that's the thing. You also don't want to run it too crazy. Like if you go, I'm gonna run it 20% of the time. I guess we got to think about it. How many times do we want them to run it? Let's just say we want them. Let's say we run 60 plays per match. I don't even know what the number is. Let's just call it 50 for fun. If we do 50 plays per match, and 25 of those plays are passing plays, how many times would we want to run it per game? Right? If you're doing 50 plays, let's say we would want to run it 5 times, right? That's 10%, right? So 50 plays, 5 times, 10%. If you run it 50% of the time, then 5% of 25%, that's what is that? That's 20%. That becomes 20%. If it's 100% passing, then it's going to be a 10% thing, right? So I guess what we need to do is we need to say how many times per game do we want to run it as a rough number. And if we just say we want to do it 10 times per game, 5 times per game, whatever that number is, then we back it out and say, okay, well, how many times are you planning on passing? And out of those percentages, we get 5 out of that. I don't know. Yeah, we're going to have to think about a formula for that because I'm not sure. Say less. My kid always says that. I hate when he says that. That's like the new thing kids are saying. Say less. That's funny. Auto kick mechanic. Yeah, I'm looking back at the comments right now, and Jordan, your thought about Nintendo Switch. I would love for, I think the Nintendo Switch is a great system because that system, obviously, I think it lends itself better to lower graphics. It's a more indie type of title. It's a mobile thing. It's more like kid friendly. I don't know if kids love pixel art or not. That's something I don't know the answer to, but the only thing about the Switch that makes it hard is the Switch is very, very underpowered. It cannot handle a lot of the games. And a lot of the games that run on Switch, they run at 30 FPS. I don't know if you realize that or not. And we're going to be able to get it on the Switch, but it's not going to perform anywhere near as well as, another system. That's the only downside to the Switch. We may even have to make some, compensations. And pull some things out. Like for some reason the player numbers are not playing well with that system. Like the game slows down by like 12 FPS. It drops like 10 to 12 FPS when we put the numbers on the jerseys. So it's really weird. So yeah, so not thinking about it technically, yeah, the Switch is great. But as you start to get into the hardware and the technology and capability that it has, it is quite an obstacle to get the game on there. But we're going to do it. I mean, we're going to do it. It's just not going to be the best experience in my mind. I think the best experience, if you want a mobile, is the Steam Deck. It is amazing on the Steam Deck because it has power, you know? Yeah, I've never even heard of the Retroid Pocket View. I don't even know what that is, but if that's playing well, then hey, that's awesome. How many FPS do you get on that? I mean, what kind of hardware is that in comparison to the Steam Deck or the Switch? By the way, one of the things I fixed, or I hope I fixed, I'm trying to watch for the testing on this too. And when you guys do your testing, watch as well, the beta guys. Keep an eye out for the interceptions, like those quick interceptions, like that happen at the line, or even happen on the field. Like if the ball gets tipped and it immediately goes into their hands, like you can barely even notice it. Like it could be like 1 frame long, where it gets tipped and goes right in your hand. That's not going to happen anymore. There's like a 10 second, not 10 second, but 10 frames that have to kind of happen now before a ball can be caught off a tip. Now, 10 frames are quick. You're not going to even notice it, but it's not that quick. Like the ball has to move 10 frames in order for that to happen. I can actually show you guys real quick. Let me pull up this video so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So I'll show you this video I recorded. I had the ball airtime. So that number is every frame, right? So as soon as the ball hits him, it's going to be at 78, right? And then it goes in the air like that. I don't know how well you guys can see it. Let me see if I can try to zoom in a little bit here. The ball's right here. And at 78, what's going to happen is it's going to reset the air time. And it's going to have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And at that point, somebody can catch it. So it's not going to be a quick 1 frame, boom, interception. So that's going to be that's a new change that's coming. It's part of the beta right now for you beta guys. So keep that in mind. And I think that what that's going to do is, especially at the line of scrimmage, you're not going to get those quick, crazy interceptions now off of a tip, because right now, if you're in the line, if you're within this, hold on, let me show you. I can't right now. If you're within this area right here, like in this box right here, interceptions are really not going to happen. But if the ball was getting tipped, then all bets are off and any interception can happen. So I didn't want to eliminate interceptions here even for tips. So what I did was make that change that I just showed you where they can still intercept it, but you're not going to get those quick, crazy interceptions anymore, which I think is going to be a great addition to the game. Red Horse Adventures, thanks for coming in. Yeah, I'm glad you're playing the game. It is tough, but tough is good. You're going to get better at the game, and the game has a really steep, you know, it's easy to play but hard to master, right? That's the way I call it. So it's like a Simcade game. Yeah, you can get modded rosters on the Discord if you want to get other rosters. It's very easy to do. Any chance of slipping and sliding in? Oh, yeah, I had that slipping and stuff in place early on, but I couldn't get it to really work the best. As of right now, it's not really a thing, but hey, maybe in the future, you never know. Yeah, Klep, I think I did it. Check out the build and let me know if you see, if you guys keep seeing DLs intercept at the line, or even any crazy weird like fast interceptions like that. I don't want to see that anymore. Like right there is a good example. Like it got swatted. Now it's not a great example, but it got swatted in the air, which swats are going to happen. Now, keep in mind that this is a guy blitzing, so that's why it got swatted. It's not a lineman. That's why that one got swatted, which they deserve to get a swat because they blitzed. But I kind of want to see how this game plays out. I don't think have we even had a sack yet? That's why I think maybe this is just too low. Yeah, no sacks yet. Now these are both pretty good QBs though. So keep that in mind. They're both high skill QBs. And that does make a difference because the higher skill QB you have, the better chance he has of getting rid of the ball. So we shall see. I mean, I do want to see. I want to. I think I need to bump it up now, and we need to take into account how often the team runs. I mean, that's important. The more that they pass the ball, the more they're running right now. The more chance they can run with the QB, the less they pass the ball, obviously the less chance. So, but I don't know if we even want to touch that, right? Like what if we just want to leave it to where, you know, it's going to be a matter of whenever they pass, because right now, here's the way it is. If you think about it, whenever a passing play is chosen, right now, you have a 10% chance of running it. That's what we want, right? We just want them to have, when you pass it, you have a chance to run it. And that's the reality of, if you think about the NFL or any other league, if you got a fast quarterback like Lamar Jackson, every time they pick a passing play, he's got X percentage chance of running it. They could run every single play as a running play, and he's not going to run it, obviously. So you can't, think about it. If you were to run the ball 90% of the time, you don't want the guy running as a QB 100% of the time, that last 10%, right? We don't want that. So I think the way it's working right now is fine. I think it needs to be bumped up, though. I do. I think I'm going to push it back to the 15% and then see what happens. Another thing, too, is do we want slower quarterbacks to ever do that? I don't think so. Like a design run. I don't think so. I think 85 or more is a good thing. And that way you can actually feel like you're playing different quarterbacks every time you play a team. Oh, the one thing that we did do, Derek, though, is if you're the user and you're controlling the defensive lineman, you can blow up the block now in this version. So you can immediately shed the block and you can get to the quarter, because we want to get more sacks. That's another thing I forgot to mention. That's going to be part of this update too, is when you're controlling the defender, the lineman, I should say, and you get into a block, you can blow them right up if you're good enough. That can happen just by smashing the A button. So right. I don't want to see Tom Brady on a design run either. But you see, because these guys are good, we're not seeing it very often. So I'm gonna stop this for a second. I'm gonna make a change. I'm gonna make it. What do you guys want to do? 15%, 10% of 30 passes, or just a game average, or just 3 runs? So I could see it needing a bump. I'm gonna do 20% just for fun. And then what else was I gonna do? I think that was it, but I'll be right back while this is loading. All right, I'm back. All right, so this time we're gonna do exhibition, and let's see these teams. I think this will be a good matchup here. Christmas was kind of lonely. My mom got COVID, or not? She didn't get COVID. She got a really bad flu. Felt like COVID, and then my family was going to come here for Christmas, and they all ended up bailing because my mom got sick, and then so everything kind of just broke down. But it was good. No drama. My son got sick too, which he got sick from my mom. My mom was visiting at the time. Huh, that's funny. Thanks. Is the game fun to play without mods? Hell yeah, it's fun to play without mods. I actually like to play without mods. The default roster is, to me, is great. Oh man, sorry to hear that, Gerald. Hope everybody's okay. Hey, we got a sack. Man, he ran that time. He ran a little bit too far to the right. I think I might need to make a change where when you pass the line of scrimmage, maybe. Because right now he's running. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I think that he should have moved a different direction, but he didn't. Oh, that was him running again? No. Really? Yeah. He could have had that, man. Damn. Interesting. Hmm. Poor Tua, man. I kind of feel bad for that guy. I don't know why he's so susceptible to getting concussions. I mean, I know he's not a big dude, but and like all my friends, I grew up down south in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, right? So all my friends are Dolphin fans, and I was a Buffalo Bills fan because I used to live in Rochester, New York. But I grew up in South Florida, and whenever they complain about Tua, they're so like they waver, man, all the time. The fans are so hard on him. I know he's not super consistent, but the guy's had 3 concussions that we know of, and he's basically killing himself for your team, and putting everything he can out there on the field. He's performed pretty damn well. And the fans turn on him on a dime, man. They're like, oh, they have no patience for him, but they love him, and they think he's the MVP quarterback of the league. Oh, he ran it again. I don't know why that time he ran right up the middle. Let's see. See, that would have been a perfect opportunity to run it to the side. I think, you know what happened that time? The number of I think if the blockers aren't heavy on one side or another, he'll just try to run however he wants to run, like he usually would run. That's why, because I don't want him always running to the left or right. Yeah, I mean, fans have no patience for quarterbacks. Quarterbacks are they're such a like a dominant figure in on your team. Like they're so important, and because the league is so offensive heavy and so pass heavy, they mean so much to your organization. I mean, we're lucky because Josh Allen is working out and he's turned into a really, really top quarterback. He's got his issues. He hasn't been playing the best since week 6. People are all complaining. We're not being forecasted to beat the Bengals. I think we're a really good team, and we're going to turn it around and get even better. But we've won won the last 7 games in a row. We're finding a way to win as a team, and that's what separates the elite teams from the teams that are just playoff teams and don't make it to the final game. You have to find a way to win. And it can't just rely on your quarterback. We all know that. It can't just rely on one player. Look at Tom Brady's team. Tom Brady's still great. I know he's older, but he's still great. And they're not doing the best, right? When you're one-dimensional like that, you cannot win every single time. You have to win during the big matches. But Josh Allen, man, he's gonna break out. He's gonna have some breakout games. But they're also trying to, I think they're also trying to keep him like under the wraps, where he's not throwing so many interceptions, where he's not risking crazy, opportunity. Because we've lost a lot of, like, the games we've lost this year, we could have easily won. Like the total points that we've lost is like it's like 8 points or something. I think it's some small number like that. If you add up all of our losses, which I think we only have 3, right? I think we're 11-3, 12-3. Can't remember. But if you add up all of our losses, they were within 8 points total, like added together. So we've made a lot of mistakes that if we just don't make mistakes and we don't turn the ball over and we don't fumble the ball and we don't do stupid things, he's running it a lot. Like he's running it way too often. So I'm not digging that. So I'm going to turn this back down. I think like we didn't see it at all last game, which was really weird. So I think I'm going to do like 13%. Yeah, but I'm telling you, we have motor. So Singletary's great. Yes, he's not the best running back in the world, but he can break out and give you some running yards. But James Cook is playing better and better every week. Like he's becoming our RB1. I mean, he's to me he's getting better. And we have a pretty dynamic squad, and we got Hines now. So I feel like we have some pretty good running. We run better than the people think. We're also a better running defense than people give us credit for. I want to find a really bad QB. This guy's bad. We're like 6th in rushing defense, at least last I heard. And so I'm telling you, we have a pretty solid chance to go far. And this game on Monday for us is huge. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. How do I get rid of that? Oh, there we go. This game coming up on Monday against the Bengals is huge because that's going to be someone we're going to have to deal with when... all right, we're going to see if the guy can tackle from the back, and he can. So that's fixed. This Monday is a big game. Huge game for us. A bigger game than KC, to be honest with you. Because the Bengals are really good. Yeah, I don't know. I think right now we're doing okay. I mean, you also have to realize that, or at least my opinion, is it's a lot of it has to do with the offensive line. If you don't have a good offensive line and a good rush blocking line, I don't care who you have back there, unless you have somebody like Barry Sanders, you're not going to do much in the backfield. We have 2 pretty solid running backs. I'm telling you, we have 3 guys that we can play that are solid. We just don't have we don't have the best rushing offensive line blocking, rush blocking offensive line. Pass blocking, we're okay. Josh Allen still has to make a lot of plays with his legs for us to get any kind of offense going. So our offensive line is not the best. If we had a great offensive line, I think our running backs would be really, really good. And I think James Cook is our future. Just had a TD freeze? Okay. Yeah, send that to me. Or put it in the port feedback channel. Yeah, I mean, if we had somebody like a Derrick Henry, yeah, he's a beast. But he also needs a good offensive line because he's the kind of guy that, yeah, he can knock some guys down with a stiff arm, But I think he does well when he gets an open hole, but that hole has to open. A lot of times we don't get holes, we just don't get them. So what are you going to do? How are you going to get out? How are you going to make a play? I love seeing passes like this. This is probably one of my favorite parts of the game. When you miss a pass like that. I love seeing that. That's so cool. Oh man, that's awesome. Yep. That's the only guy who didn't need it, in my opinion. But if you don't have an offensive line blocking for you, how the hell are you going to get past 300 plus pound defenders and linebackers and everybody just coming after you? And you can't rely on your blockers, and they get, just like in this game, when the blockers lose a block battle, you get hit. And if you're running towards your blocker because you think he's going to pull off the block and they don't, well, you just walk into a trap. And plays can't develop. Holes can't open up. You don't have any lanes to go through. And I'm not saying our offensive line is the worst in the league, but we're on the bottom half. That's for damn sure. And our running backs have to, do some work to get out of the backfield. Yeah, I know how important they are. I'm just saying, like, people quickly, even with Tua, people want to quickly say, oh, Tua, he's horrible, concussions, not consistent. The guy has pulled off some pretty good games. And yeah, he's got Cheetah and the Penguin, but at the same time, he's had to make some pretty damn good throws at clutch times, and he's had some big wins this year. And I don't know. I mean, their running back is really good. He's playing great on the Dolphins. I mean, they gave us 2 tough games. One we barely lost, one we barely won. I mean, that they're playing really, really well, and I hope that they don't see us in the playoffs, because they could beat us. And Tua, think about this. When they played us and Tua got the concussion the first time, and they let Bridgewater play. I think it was Bridgewater. They were playing like total trash for those few plays that he got to play. I think it's like 1 or 2 drives maybe. And then they brought Tua back in with a concussion, and then they ended up beating us. But that just shows you how good he actually is. You put a mediocre quarterback back there, I don't care if you have Cheetah or Waddle, you still got to get the ball to them. People think that anybody can just throw to those guys. It's not true. Yeah, he's playing hurt. He's playing foggy. The guy's has had 3 concussions in a matter of months. Do you know what that does to your cognitive skills, your motor skills? I mean, the guy's literally gonna turn into Muhammad Ali if he doesn't be careful, right? And then everybody wants to just. I feel bad for the guy. I honestly do. And I know it's not a sport, where it's not a sport for babies, and we have short, tolerances for quarterbacks and players and teams and etc. But hey, they're still, you still have to have some kind of compassion for these guys, man. Yeah, his brain is cottage cheese. I mean, he's getting beat up bad. There we go. We had a sack finally, at least one that looked like, a regular one where he's not just running. Whoops. So this guy, let me do it this way. This guy is super stupid, so he's not going to ever check down. He's somewhat greedy, and that's why he probably ran the ball. Plus, I think he's kind of fast. He's got an 86 speed, so he took off and under pressure, and he got sacked for that. If you look at, we have no sacks so far for Vix, and we're already almost done with it. I have it at 13% now, by the way. I changed it to 13%. It was at 20 last game, and he was running it way too much, so I turned it down to 13%. But I'm going to have to go in a little bit because I need to go out and spend time with the family. But I wanted to do some testing live. I'm going to have to push another build out I'll probably do one now after the game with it at 13% so you guys can kind of see how it feels at 13%. Nah, I wouldn't worry about that, Corey. It's going to actually give some diversity there. That's cool that you like football games but don't watch football. That's fine. I mean, I don't like watching college football. I'm not a fan of college football. There's too much going on, too crazy. I just can't get into it. I don't miss a Buffalo Bills game no matter where I am, vacation, unless I just physically can't get to a game. I don't miss my team. I love it. Now, I wish I didn't love it that much because how much time in my life I've spent watching them. And I don't eat the best when I watch them. I'm always snacking on something. You know, that's not the healthiest thing for me, but I love watching my Bills. I do. Man, he got stuck. Which is fine for me. If that's exactly, you know what? This is why I love this game. This is why I do love it. Yes, somebody might say, oh, this is stupid. Why is he sitting back there? But this is exactly the point that we were talking about earlier. If you cannot create an open hole for your running back, they're not going to go anywhere. Yeah, I don't have all the animations to show him pushing or doing a spin out of this or some weird crazy, bottom line is this guy doesn't have any hole to run through. So he's going to get stuck. Not going to cheat it. Not going to fake it. Not going to warp him through it. And this game by itself is a really good sim engine. I mean, I had a group of guys that do the NFTs. They were going to offer me quite some money to use this game as a simulation engine for their NFT, but I don't believe in NFTs. I don't believe in crypto. And I said, no, not right now. But I'm saying this game as a sim engine alone, like the way the AI versus AI plays, I know it's not perfect. I know it could be improved. I know there's parts of it that can be better, but it's pretty damn good for one guy. I think it's pretty good. This was exactly the game that I set out to make. And I'm I don't ever give myself enough credit. I never give the game enough credit. Like I might say it to you guys now, but I'm honestly like impressed. And I get more impressed whenever I start working on a new project or I mess around with something else. Make a sim engine game for mobile. When you say sim engine, you're talking about gameplay like this, or are you talking about just the sim engine where you simulate weeks? Because doing it on the field like this, phones can't handle this game. Maybe when it gets optimized, maybe it'll be better. But right now, phones will not be able to handle the power it takes to run this game. I do think it would be really cool. I'm just not a mobile developer, and you know how I feel about mobile. I do think it would be really cool if there was a way that we could like take our rosters on the go or do some kind of something on your phone to like play your franchise or something that you can take with you and then it can plug back in to the game. But that would require a server, I think, and it would require like some kind of syncing process to happen. Yeah, see gameplay. Yeah, I don't know. I know that number one, this game is all built on 19 by 20. I mean, 1980 by 10 or 1920 by 1080p resolution. I mean, that's like the main 16 by 9 one that it's trying to get. I know phones can be all different types of resolutions. That's always a problem. But the hardware and the fact that I hate mobile stops me. But yeah, I mean, if I had a way to push a button and have it on mobile, yeah, I'd have it on mobile. I just don't, I just don't want to get into all the one thing I hate about mobile too is that you have free to play with like, or pay to play, whatever, like pay to win, where it's free to get in and you got to pay for all these different ads or watch ads, or you got to pay for things to get rid of the ads. I hate that. I hate everything about that. I just do. I can't stand building a game around ads. I mean, I even have a company that wants to put ads in my game here. They do it in Access Football too. I don't know how much money they make doing that, but I have to integrate their software into it, and then you'll see like their ads in the game. I don't know how much money it would make, but that's something that, you know, I've been people have reached out for me to do, and I haven't done it. It's not, number one, it's not like super simple, and I don't think it is anyway. It's not for my kind of game. I think it does. I think it's easier to do for a 3D game like in Unity. But I really don't even know how much money it would make, you know. I can make it a flat fee, but I'm telling you, most people aren't going to buy it. I'll make little, the amount of money you're going to make versus the amount of work that it would take, to me, I don't feel like it's worth it. And when I tell you that I do not like mobile, I would rather get a job at a regular corporate America company than work on a mobile game. I mean, that's just how I feel for a lot of reasons. All right, another sack. So let's take a look at that. So on this one, he went the right way, because I did add code in this build that you guys have where they're going to pick what direction to turn based on who's chasing them. So I did pick the right direction, or he did there. Yeah, I hear you. I want to make extra revenue too, man. I want to continue working on this game. I want to work on other versions of the game. Yeah. Corey's making a lot of money with this game, let me tell you. I'm not talking about Corey. But that's true, Corey. You did put a lot of ads in the game. That's funny. Backbreaker, yeah, different leagues with different skilled teams. Yeah, I mean, that would be cool. I always thought it would be cool to do, even like Sunday Rivals does it, to be honest. That would be a cool mode too, where, yeah, t-shirts would be kind of cool. But let's see how the game, listen, I have a publisher. They have ideas. They're going to be doing some things. They might have a physical copy of the game come out. But yeah, merchandising would be something that we could, you know, possibly get into also. But I want to see that, because was that a tip? Now that wasn't an interception, so that's different. Catches can happen that way, but not interceptions. That might have been a quick little tip. Yeah, it did. See, that I'm okay with, because it's not an interception, at least. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I liked how on Sunday Rivals how they had like the head. What was it called? Like head. It was a mode, Headhunter or something, right? Where you start off as the worst team, and like I like the idea of being like the worst team, and then you play the next best team. I liked this idea. It was kind of like a roguelike, where a roguelite, where you're the worst team, right? And then you play the next team up in ranking, and if you beat them, then you like unlock, you know, one of their players, their best player or something, and then like, or you get some random like cool like Maybe it's like a list of players that are pre-created, like we created them like special, like these special Hall of Fame type players. And every time you beat a team, you unlock that player. And if you were to lose to the next team, let's say like you lose, like you win your first game, you win your second game, you unlock, 2 players. You play your third game and you lose. Well, you keep those 2 players and you start off in the beginning again. And then so every time you play a team and you win, you get that player on your squad. They stay with you no matter what team you're playing with. And you get to use them after, on a new run, right? So it's kind of cool where at the end, like you can go through all the teams, you can beat all the teams, but it gives you something to play in the game. It gives you, number one, players to unlock. It also gives you, and there could be like a thing that shows you what players you unlocked, a screen that shows you that you accomplished this or whatever. And it's kind of like Mutt has those pro cards that are legends or whatever. You'll have that, and you'll have maybe like a little place where you could see all the cards. I mean, those are the kind of ideas I have for this game if I can continue working on it. Because to be honest, what I would love to do, if there was no such thing as making money, I would just continue working on this game and making it better and better and better and adding more modes and adding more content and adding more things to the game. And it would be like one of those things that continually gets better and better. But we have to think about the revenue. We have to. Especially, yeah, we have a list of legend players. That's true. But like another list, right? But you're right. We do have that list right now. But make a new list of really cool looking players. And even if we have some more like better looking sprites or more add-ons, like you could put sleeves, like you could put like elbow pads on players and mouthpieces and things like that. Maybe you get some cool players that have some of that cool stuff too. But like some kind of thing where you grind your way and earn some stuff. At least that to me would be fun to add more life to the game, right? Let's take a look at the sacks real quick. So he's got 2 sacks and 0 sacks, 2 interceptions, 1 interception. So right now there's 3 interceptions going on in the game, which is to me kind of high still. But I'm gonna have to end the stream, guys, because I got to get going. I hope that if you guys want me to do more of these, I can do more. I'm gonna be testing the game out. I love talking to you guys. I love chatting with you guys. I love hearing. I know a lot of you guys are in the beta, and a lot of you guys are the more active guys in the forum on Discord. You'd pay $30 right now for play action passes RPO. Psh, I'd pay $3,000 for somebody to do that for me. That's a lot of work. I mean, but those are the things that I would want to do, right? And you're saying you do it for Legend Bowl too, but you got to remember, Club, you're like a super fan of the game, right? You're like the top 1%. Most people, they want more, and they're not even happy with what it has right now, right? So I don't know why this guy went to the right here. Let me see. Oh, if I had to guess, he was probably trying to follow a blocker because this guy was coming after him. So he was trying to find a blocker. That's not bad. That's cool that you bought it that early, and there's been a ton of updates, right? Like the game where it was in early access and where it is now has been me not being a businessman and me just making the best game that I could. Pre-snap motion might be a thing. The only thing with pre-snap motion is if I do add it to this build before we get the game on consoles, before it releases, the plays are going to need to be updated and not touched. So that's going to be some work that has to be done to get those pre-snap motions in, but I might add it to the game. So keep that in mind. I know you're listening, Klep. I know. But I know, Klep, when you get in there, you want more plays. You mess with the plays. You change plays. You try to sneak in formation. So I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. But I know there's a lot of work that needs to be done to add. We would need to add in pre-snap motion routes. Like you and I worked on it. But it would have to be, do not break the current. I mean, we're so far late in the game that the playbook cannot be broken. Nothing weird can happen, right? So I might add it in, and you may not even know about it, Klep. I'm just kidding. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's work that has to be done. But it's not even the work. It's not breaking anything, right? So we'll see. But I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll do it again next time. But let me know in the comments or let me know on Discord. If you guys want to see me do more of these, I'll do them when I have time. All right. Later. I wonder if I